welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're looking at an Ashiok Sultai deck. This is actually a mill deck disguised as a Sultai control pile. It has a ton of cheap removal, from Moment of Craving, Cast Down, Tyrant Scorn, Assassin's Trophy, and of course Thought Erasure to mess with the hand. The Planeswalkers are Narset and Ashiok Dream Renderer to help mill the opponent out. Adding to the mill package is Bond of Insight, which mills each player but lets you get back an instant or sorcery, or two, I guess, up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Bond of Insight. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, is a way to win the game when your deck is empty. Mastermind's Acquisition pulls cards out of the sideboard. And then we have a little bit more removal. We have Enter the God Eternals and Plane-Wide Celebration, which gets back your Ashioks and your Jace if they get milled. So this also mills the opponent, but you can also mill yourself with it. That's part of the joy of the deck. Also, the sideboard's a work in progress. This was originally designed for best of 3 play by a friend of mine from the Duels days, the Lona, had me play it for Sub Tuesday on Twitch, and I like the deck, and I've been tinkering with it here and there. I haven't spent too much time in the sideboard, though. The main things I get are the Mirari Conjecture, the Liliana, the Carnage Tyrant, the Immortal Sun, another Plane-Wide Celebration, or an Unmoored Ego. It could probably be improved a little bit, because I'm not quite sure about some of the other spots. Obviously, there probably isn't a need for 2 Moment of Craving or 2 Duress if we're playing best of 1. So the other spots I'm still working out, and it's okay if you want to make some adjustments there as well. What I'm really looking forward to this deck is just making the opponents miserable by killing all of their things, and then using the Dream Render to exile everything they have. So let's go inflict some pain. HauntedFlower.com has thousands of licensed apparel designs. Licensed means it is legal for me to use the trademarked logos and such, and I paid a lot of money to make them, so please check it out. Game of Thrones t-shirts help you remember better times when characters you liked were still alive. Magic the Gathering Mana Symbol pants. Magic the Gathering Mana Symbol sleep pants. I don't always wear pants when I stream, but when I do, I wear these. All this and more shipped worldwide at hauntedflower.com. Use the promo code CGB to save 10% and support the channel at the same time. No blue mana on the play. Assassin's Trophy. Deck is not being kind to me so far today, but this is a much better hand, and I have no idea if this early removal is good or not against our opponent, so I'm going to bottom this one before picking up my 3rd cheap removal spell. The opponent's showing a lot of signs of mono red, and for once they're not lying. At least I'm ready for their Runaway Steamkin now. Nothing interesting. Well, I could play out the Narset, but I think I'm just going to say go. Since the opponent has a Lightning Strike, we would use it once and then they'd strike it, and they'd get to use their mana. I would like to prevent them from using their mana, or if they're going to use a strike, they can go at my face. So I can battle the card advantage war better. And there you go. Nothing and Chain Whirler. Okay. So this was kind of an important tempo play. Hopefully some of you are picking up on it, that we don't want to give our opponent a way to use their mana every single turn. And by now untapping and playing Narset, or Bond of Insight if I prefer. I actually think getting the Bond cast is better. But yeah, untapping and playing a Narset here means now they have to strike it on their turn. So let's go for Bond of Insight. It's the more mana efficient play. And we get back, let's see what our opponent has here. Okay. The typical red stuff. I don't think that Thought Erasure is where we go, although Thought Erasure can deal with other card advantage type things. Our opponent still has 6, so we'll definitely get to resolve it. Okay, I'll take a Thought Erasure, along with the Tyrant Scorn. And Bond of Insight gets exiled when you cast it. So away it goes. Our opponent goes to the Chandra, trying to avoid our Thought Erasure, but that's okay. We have an Assassin's Trophy. So let's start here. we'll take their card advantage cards and not worry as much about their burn cards. We'll keep a Bond of Insight because it gets us more card advantage. And we can get back our Assassin's Trophy. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to let my opponent draw their card before I Assassin's Trophy their Chandra. The reason I'm doing that is for the very tiniest amount of mana fixing. When you let the opponent fetch a land out of their deck with Assassin's Trophy, it's called mana thinning. I said fixing, but mana thinning. It makes the odds higher that they'll draw a spell instead, the odds that they'll draw a land lower. So before I give them that minute amount of advantage, and I do stress it is a minute percentage-y point of advantage, I'm going to let them draw a card first because the odds of it being a land are a little bit higher. And look at that, it worked out. All right, let's shoot off another Bond of Insight because we can get another Thought Erasure if we want, as well as an Assassin's Trophy. Actually, I'll take Enter the God Eternals, even though we don't have the mana to cast it yet, and another trophy for our opponent's next Experimental Frenzy. Thought Erasure would simply cause the opponent to burn the hell out of me. We've got 2 Frenzies down there so far, and a Chandra. This game will probably be all about the card advantage cards because my opponent's creatures aren't the big scare. So the opponent leaves this untapped because of Enter the God Eternals. That makes sense. We can just cast it down to get it off the field if we wish. I don't believe it's right to shock here, so you can enter the battlefield tapped. We can keep holding the Snare Set, it's okay. And we'll just pass the turn back to our opponent, who's trying to amass 20 points of damage in hand. They're on 10, 11, so it's already a little scary, but they don't want to attack because the Fanatical Firebrand will get Moment of Craving to cast down something like that. So we may as well get it off the battlefield. The opponent knows about this, they don't know about the cast down. So boom. The opponent will sack it, deal a point of damage to me. Just the way it goes. Now, we're not going to get a good window to draw the opponent's spells out with Narset, so we may as well just play it now. It will probably eat a Lightning Strike, but not till after we draw an extra card with it.
I know 88 ways to defeat. Put thoughtfulness before.
And I love grabbing Narsets with Narset to keep the chain going. The opponent may not be willing to throw Burn at it, since their whole strategy is to go face. And, okay. They are sitting indefinitely over there. Indefinitely. In no rush. Maybe I will take some Thought Erasures soon. Just force the issue, although right now they can play all the burn I see in response to a Thought Erasure. Ashiok. Sweet. Keep it coming.
Meditate and prepare.
Yeah, I may as well. The opponent's probably not going to play a creature ever. So let's make them play some burn spells. Oh, never mind. They're not willing to go for it. That's kind of tilting to me to be like, really, why would they go through all that and then scoop at that point? They could throw all that burn at my face and then try to play the burn off the top roll, and they might get there. We can keep this, I think. We need to get a blue source off the top and a black source. So a blue and black land like a Watery Grave or Drowned Catacomb would be perfect. So I'm relying on Thought Erasure to do it. Our opponent has Hearthstone in their name, so you already know they're on mono red. That's how it works. Prove me wrong. Oh, they did. I'm proud of you. I'm actually happy. I like to be proven wrong. All right, what do we take? The Growth Chamber Guardian and the Zertog Goblin we have pretty good answers to. The Light Up the Stage is a bit awkward because the opponent can't deal damage to us as easily as they can in mono red. We don't have an easy answer to Chandra yet, and it's probably the strongest card in the hand, so I'm going to take Chandra away. Yeah, that's the land we needed. Very curious if the opponent will haste out this Goblin or drop Growth Chamber Guardian. Okay, they went with the 3/3. No problem. So this is a good Omnixlus's Cruelty moment and keep the opponent from getting in there for light up the stage. And if they play the Growth Chamber Guardian, of course, we'll Cry the Canarium it and get another turn to play this tapped. Now, Collision Colossus is +4/+2. That is not good enough to save from Omnixlus's Cruelty. I would love if the opponent played it. Maybe they'll just go for it. You never know. Pelt Collector. Well, the Cruelty won't trigger it because it will give this a ---- ability, although the opponent could use the Collision Colossus to grow this once, but that's not a big deal with Cry the Canarium coming down. Would you like to pump it? No, of course not. They'd rather light up the stage, which I understand completely. So here's the Cruelty. Out of there. And will the opponent go for this Growth Chamber Guardian? If they do, Cry the Canarium awaits. There we go. Nom nom nom. And now we can get both spells back with a Bond of Insight next turn if we wish. The opponent might use Light Up the Stage here. Just get some cards. And there you go. Full price. And they do hit a land drop with a Goblin in the wings. I hit my 5th land. Let's go ahead and pick back up some of those spells. Ooh. We could get back the Mastermind's acquisition. But honestly, against Gruul, I like saving that till much later in the game. So, I don't know if Cry of the Canarium will still be good, but I'm definitely getting the Cruelty. Is Thought Erasure still good? Well, if we get the Thought Erasure, the opponent will just play their best cards next turn. I think it's better to get a Scorn, which is very likely, we know it's going to hit something. It also goes well with Narset, because we can play the Scorn, kill something, and play the Narset to find something else, so it fits our curve well. Goblin returns. 3/3. Goblin again. 3/3. Okay. I think we may have to kill both then. We can say go. The Collision Colossus can't save either Goblin. And maybe the opponent will give something away before we commit our removal spells. Another Pelt Collector. Well, in response to that, let's at least destroy something here so that it doesn't grow the Pelt Collector when it dies. The Cruelty can take out the other one, and that won't trigger Pelt Collector. So the Pelt Collector will at least be stuck as a 1/1 for the foreseeable ever. Alright. Would you like to pump it with Collision Colossus? The opponent knows about this, so that would be a silly thing to do. We're just giving them opportunities to make mistakes. But good opponents don't take those. However, good players still offer the opportunities. You never know. I've seen some absolutely ridiculous things in my time. So that we're down to 1 card left. We know what it is. Let's go ahead and use Narset here. Try to find good removal for the Pelt Collector.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers.
And that's just a scoop to the Narset. The opponent doesn't even want to see what we come up with next. This hand has cheap removal, Narset that we can cast, and Thought Erasure, so seems like a very keepable 7. Let's see what our opponent is up to. Steam Vents. Perhaps we're up against the Rekindling Phoenix deck. Not Rekindling Phoenix, Arclight Phoenix. We'll need our 1 Cry of the Canarium in that case. Let's open with a Watery Grave. Our mana looks super friendly here to set up our Sultai. We can definitely take out their Crackling Drakes and their Goblin Electromancers. It's the Arclight Phoenix themselves, and maybe we need to fetch an Unmoored Ego for them. Never mind. Jeskai Planeswalkers. I was getting ahead of myself again. You're making things up again, CGB. Preparing for decks when that's not what you're facing. Well, we have a good amount of Planeswalker removal in our hand now. And the opponent with an early Spell Pierce, do they have one for the Narset as well? Only one way to find out. Well, they're going to try to find it. Bottom. Okay, that resolves. I think they have a shock. Here it comes. Well, we could take the Ashiok. It doesn't particularly do good things to our opponent right now. The Plane-Wide Celebration, on the other hand, that doesn't do anything right now, so Ashiok it is. Not the best Narset, but Narset's still on 1 loyalty and can damage their plans quite a bit if they're the Planeswalker deck, which at this point, pretty sure they are. That or a really funky Jeskai control. They know about this. Let's just offer it up to their Spell Pierce and their Dovin's Veto. Nope, not yet. Yeah, get that Sarkin out of there, although... I prefer that they had to draw those, but whatever. Alright. Enter the Overgrown Tomb. And there's Sarkin. And a dragon. It is frustrating that we can't kill both, isn't it? Super frustrating. That's the nature of this deck, though. It presents so many threats. We have more ways to kill creatures than Planeswalkers, which tells me I should Vraska's Contempt away the Sarkin while I can. We could get another use out of our Ashiok if a Moment of Craving decreased Sarkin's potency, but don't think that's the way we can do it. And I think the opponent will attack the Narset. It's an incredibly frustrating card to be sitting on the battlefield. But we'll see. Do they care more about Ashiok? Here's the Time Raveler.
Let's slow this down.
Ooh.
I got this.
Oops. Yeah, that only gets you once. You'd think. But I make that mistake all the time. There's a Cruelty. We can get rid of the Teferi, or we can just let it be. Right now it's not doing much. Let's just get rid of this dragon. I think hanging on to this trophy is okay. There might be something more pressing to kill. Eventually we may want to eliminate it, but the opponent has to get through the Narset before its effect on the game becomes important. That's interesting. I can get back my Narset now. And use it again. I love that. Unless the opponent has Dovin's Veto. We see the Scry to the top. That's scary. So if we can hit an Ashiok... Actually, we just did. Actually, if the opponent shuffles away, it doesn't matter. But maybe I just start with this Ashiok anyway. Because the opponent might... If they have a Dovin's Veto, they might counter it knowing their top card. And that would let the trophy resolve. And I think the Narset is the greater prize. Let's play out our land first, just because Spell Pierce is a card, and so is double Spell Pierce, although the opponent only has 1 blue. Alright, hit you again. Oh no, Opt. They drew the card. That was cheats. Well, they could have done that in response to the trophy. It's too bad I couldn't trophy in response because of the Teferi, so paying the price here a little bit. Maybe I should see what they draw before I do this, but no, I think that this is going to be the right play regardless. It's got to be another Sarkin, though, I think. So, do you have a basic land? No? No basic land. Awesome. Thought Erasure. That's perfect. Although, as much as I'd love to take another Narset, we know they wanted that card. They took a Prison Realm, and their Spell Pierce shields are down because they cast the Opt. So we'll take that Prison Realm away. We can bin that land. We have enough of them. And now our opponents, they're pretty stuck. Clarion does nothing. Spell Pierce, we've got a lot of mana, and we can play around it.
This might be a bad idea.
This doesn't draw cards because of Narset. Let's see what we find. Mastermind's Acquisition. Seems really good. We have cards like the Elder Spell to go fetch. We also have Unmoored Ego to just take all the Sarkans out of their deck, but let's see what we hit with this Ashiok.
I leave you. My victory was but a dream.
Sarkin, Sarkin. Only 2 are gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess the Elder Spell is a pretty good fetch. It takes out the Teferi, it reloads our Narset. Trying to decide if I want to wait another turn to do it though. Probably. I may as well play around double Spell Pierce in case that's what the opponent drew, but I doubt it is. To outside the game. You know, another card they usually can't deal with is Carnage Tyrant, but they already have 1 Clarion. If they can put 2 together, they can deal with it, which is a problem. I'll take this. But we'll wait 1 turn. Our opponent might play another Planeswalker. If they don't, we can always wipe out Teferi next turn, reload Narset, keep our awesomeness going. Probably found a Bond of Insight and do it again, but there's a Narset.
If you wish to put thoughtfulness before action.
And it's Teferi. Do we wait for Teferi to come down? I think that makes a lot of sense. The opponent can't deal with this Narset quite yet. And we don't have an easy road to deal with this Teferi. So, let's get him. There's another Sarkin.
I lost my appetite.
Alright, your turn. When the opponent doesn't see this card that we masterminded for this turn, they must be thinking about the Elder Spell. But we'll see. Maybe they just don't anticipate it.
And prepare.
What's the fetch? Karn. Okay. What's it gonna be? Okay, we're gonna go with Karn, not Teferi. Yeah, they pretty much know about the Elder Spell at this point. They'll make a 2/2. That's Moment of Craving bait.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Yeah, we're gonna have to Elder Spell here. I guess Bond of Insight means we can get it back, so that's perfect. Let's... I guess we can exile some stuff from your graveyard first, so... Just looking at anything that this Spell Pierce could mess up, I don't think it can. Submit those.
We will meet again.
And let's reload Narset, because Narset can find more Ashioks.
Keep an open mind.
Thought Erasure, take your Teferi. Seems good. Out of there. Keep that. This card is pretty awesome right now. Fire away on you. Before our opponent can somehow sneak another artifact onto the battlefield. And Ashiok you away. 16 cards left.
My dreams dissipate like smoke.
Oh, Ashiok, you're so creepy. Okay, Opt, what have you got? How are we doing on Sarkans? 1, 2, 3. There's one more. All right. The opponent scryed, but didn't get the card because of the Narset. We hit him. We got him again, and they can't face the shame. And that was for me. That felt like a great dismantling of the Jeskai deck. I hope you enjoyed this video with Ashiok Sultai, a unique way to attack the metagame, and seemed to be pretty effective in Best of 1. I won the last 3 games. Was it a lucky run here in Platinum, or is it the real deal? Do check it out. We definitely played a chunk of the top meta between the aggressive red deck, the aggressive Gruul deck, and the Jeskai Planeswalker deck, and we held our own. So you might want to give it a try. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in the next video.